Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, and welcome back to another Stampin' on Friday episode. Sorry I missed last week. We were on vacation the beginning of the week, and just to get back into the groove of things, I just took the whole week off from blogging and videos. So it was a nice little vacation, but now it's back to our regular Stampin' on Friday episodes. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're using this adorable Lawn Fawn stamp set. It's one of the new ones. It's called Happy Summer. And I'll have a link to all the supplies I'm using over on my blog so you can check them out. And the link to my blog if you're on YouTube will be in the description of the video. Let's get started with cutting. I'm going to be cutting my card base and then some other paper elements. So I'm going to use my trimmer here. And I'm going to start off with a piece of craft cardstock. This used to be an 8.5 by 11 piece. It's now just a shorter version. And I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4. On the 8.5 inch side, so it's going to be 8.5 by 4 1/4. Set that aside. That's going to be my card base, and then I'm going to take some pattern paper from the new October Afternoon Cakewalk collection. Let me just show you that real quick. And I absolutely love this paper. It's kind of a birthday themed paper, but it can be used for so much more than that. So I just wanted to show you that collection. And I'm going to be using this paper from that collection. It looks kind of like a picnic blanket. I'm going to cut this down to 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, so I have that piece of paper there. And then I have this piece of scrap cardstock. It's kind of a peach kind of color. I don't know if it's an old Stampin' Up or if it's a paper tray ink. Unfortunately, I don't have the information on that. So I'm going to cut this down to 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. Okay. And then I'm also going to need another piece of this at 1 inch. And it doesn't matter how long it is, I'm going to be using that to make a little banner for my card. So I'm just going to cut that down to 1 inch. Okay, so let's do some stamping first. I'm going to take my stamp block and stamp my sentiment from that stamp set. It says Happy Summer. And I'll use some of the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm just going to stamp Happy Summer right about here. And I'm going to make my flag banner right on the end. I'll clean my stamp off later. So that's my first stamping. My next stamping is I'm going to take a little piece of white cardstock, which is right over here, and this little watermelon from the Happy Summer stamp set. And again, using my Tuxedo Black, I'm going to stamp out my little piece of watermelon. And then I have more stamping to do. I am not done. Set that aside. I'm going to take my card base now. And I'm going to first score this at 4 1/4. And fold my cardstock in half. Set that aside. And from that stamp set, I'm going to take these adorable little marching ants, and I'm going to stamp them going straight across the bottom of my craft cardstock. And I'm going to use this Ranger Archival ink. It's just a crisper, bolder black, which stamps nicely on the craft cardstock. And I'm just going to stamp this right across the bottom. Now, the last thing I'm taking is that little line. It's for the ants, you know, if you want to put them trailing after the ants. But I'm actually going to take that and mount it onto my craft block. And I'm going to stretch it out so it's a straight line. So the hard part is making it as straight as I possibly can, but if it's not perfectly straight, that'll be fine with me too. So I am just going to stamp it out. It's got a little bit of a wave to it, but that's okay. I'm just going to stamp it out and see how it looks. Let me just grab my piece of pink here that I was using and see what it looks like. You don't want to press too heavy on this one. So it's still a little off. Ooh, that's even worse. Okay, so I've got it as good as I can get it. I'm going to use that as a border around the outside of my card. Again, using the archival ink. I'm going to start across the top and then go down each side. Okay, so I created myself a nice little border there. And now I'm going to set this aside to dry because this archival ink does take a little bit of time to dry. So I'll set that aside and we'll start working on our little watermelon. I have two Copic markers out. I have the YG03 and the R32. So what I'm going to do is just color in my watermelon. I'm not going to do really any shading or anything like that. I'm keeping it very simple. Okay, and then I will take my scissors and just trim that out. Okay, so I have my little watermelon cut out. I'm now going to go ahead and adhere my patterned paper to my pink paper that I cut out, which is 1/8 of an inch bigger than my pattern. And then I'm going to adhere this right to the front of my card base. And that's going to go right in the center, just like that. So I have some Lawn Fawn lawn trimmings, which I've never used before, and I really like how it comes on this spool. It's pretty cool, and I like the feel of the trimmings. So I cut off a piece that I can wrap around the top of my card. I'm just going to put it on here as a little bow. So I'm just going to loop it around once and then tie a bow. Oops. And it is a little bit loose, so I am going to throw a little pop dot or some adhesive behind it. Alright, so I just grabbed a little glue dots. And I'm just going to stick it right behind my bow, just to hold my bow in place. Okay, so it'd be just like that. And this little piece right here now looks crooked to me, so I'm going to try to peel this up and center it a little bit better. There we go. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is take my little piece of watermelon and I'm going to stick some dimensionals on the back. And then I will take my Happy Summer and I think I'm going to cut this down just a little bit and do my flag banner. Okay, that's going to go right across here. And I'll stick some dimensionals on the back of that as well. Okay, so my flag banner is going to go right across here. And then I'll trim this down on the side. And then my little watermelon is going to go right here. So I'll trim this off, and that'll be our card for today. There we go. Thanks for watching another episode, and I will see you next time.